Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing my very first declutter of 2025 and hopefully many to come. I have been working really hard to just downsize my collection, which is kind of hard because as I declutter, I also purchase because I want to bring you guys new content. So it's kind of hard trying to keep a balance, but I think I'm doing pretty well. I finally hit my goal of finally having my collection under 150 perfumes, which for me is huge because I have had up to 300 at one point. I always do these really drawn out long disclaimers when I do these declutters, but I'm just gonna leave you with a very short and sweet disclaimer on this one. If you're someone that thinks that you're gonna get mad if you see a certain perfume on here that I'm decluttering and you're just like, why would you declutter that when you said you liked it in the past? When I first started decluttering, it was easy to kind of rule out the perfumes that I didn't really care about, but the more and more I've decluttered, the more my collection has been curated and the harder it gets. But just because it gets harder doesn't mean I have to just let my collection get out of hand. And the whole point of these declutters is to really minimize my collection to as small as I could possibly get it while also bringing you content. Just keep in mind that none of these perfumes that I'm gonna show today I just don't like. I like them, but there's either other ones I like more or they're just repetitive in my personal collection. That's it for the disclaimer. If you have anything negative to say, either keep it to yourself or there's this fun little exit button that you can click. With that said, every single one of these perfumes is currently live on my Mercari. I just listed these so that as soon as you guys see this, you can go ahead on there and get any perfume that you might be interested in. Because I know sometimes I do these videos and I've already had some time to let these sit on my Mercari, and by the time I do the video, most of them are gone. So hopefully this will give you a chance if you want to purchase. The link to my Mercari shop will be in the description box. With that said, let's get straight into it. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and turn post notifications on, and let's get started. I feel like there's a lot of kind of shocking perfumes that I've held on to for a long time, and you guys have seen these since probably the start of my channel. Some of these are very original scents for me, but just because I've had them for a long time, it doesn't mean I've used them. And the more time I've given them to stay in my collection when I've done other declutters, that's when I really see if I actually use those scents. So if I'm kind of back and forth on if I want to declutter a perfume, I'll let it stay and then I'll just kind of see if I'm using it. If I do use it, do I enjoy it? And if I'm just not pulling for it, the next time I do a declutter, they're gonna be out. And that's the case with a couple of these. Starting with Narciso by Narciso Rodriguez. I have not used this perfume, but I love the smell of this. And I know that that's kind of weird. I don't know if you guys have this, but sometimes this happens to me. I love a perfume. I love the smell of it, but not necessarily how it smells on me. This perfume smells like old money. It is the richest smelling perfume ever. It's just, oh, it's so classy. It's so simple. It's Narciso Rodriguez, which if you know, you know. My history with Narciso Rodriguez has been a little rocky. I find his perfumes a lot of the times to just be a lot more mature for my personal taste and a lot more floral dominant, as well as that whole powdery aspect. But there's something about this one where the first time I smelled it, I'm like, this just smells like a classy woman. And I've kept it for so long but never really pulled for it because it's not really me. So yeah, unfortunately she is out of my collection. Next, I'm finally decluttering Princess from Kilian. I've been kind of hinting at the fact that this has been definitely on the edge of leaving my collection, and I've tried to kind of give it a chance. I've layered it and I do enjoy it layering more than I do alone, but something in this fragrance doesn't sit well with me. Maybe it's that overly spicy aspect, which is really weird because I normally really like spicy scents, but the sweetness and the spice in here, in my opinion, just kind of clashed. Maybe it just doesn't work well on my skin. I wish that they kept the older formula when it was in the different bottle because I really like that. It's not bad, but it's just a very unique scent. I know a lot of people say that this is really sexy and I see it, but I just don't think it works with me. And I've tried, I've given it so many chances, I've layered it, and I just can't seem to love this. At this point in my collection, I need every single one of my perfumes to be absolute loves. Otherwise, they're out. Okay, next, I'm getting rid of Ylang in Gold from M. Micallef. This fragrance is stunning, but I don't know what has happened to my body chemistry, my nose lately. I don't know. I literally went into my perfume collection a few days ago and I was smelling all my perfumes and I'm like, why are all these smelling weird to me? Can somebody explain this science? All these perfumes that I know and love kind of smell different to me at different times. It's very strange, but a lot of perfumes that I loved, I was going in and I was like, I don't love this. What is going on? I was literally looking at my husband and he was sitting on the bed and I was smelling them and I'm like, this smells weird to me. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm gonna be getting rid of this. This is a white floral ultra creamy scent. It's very beachy and tropical but sexy. Kind of gives me a Barbie doll kind of smell. It's really, really nice. Definitely tropical beach goddess without smelling like sunscreen. It's super creamy. It's so unique. There's something I love about it, but then there's this other kind of scent that doesn't sit well with me. When I spray it on my skin personally, it kind of smells like paint initially, which is really weird. The dry down I do like, but I'm just not really messing with perfumes where I have to tweak them in order to love them. I just want to go into my perfume collection and close my eyes and pick any one perfume and know that I absolutely love everything about them without having to tweak them, if that makes sense. Next one, this is gonna shock some of you because this perfume was such a love for me when I got it and I still really love it, but do you see how much it's gotten used? Not much. I just don't really pull for this. This is Calvin Klein Women. This is a stunning scent. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. This is so good. It's kind of more of a feminine take on Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue. That scent pulls a little bit more unisex in my opinion, whereas this one kind of has more of a floral feminine kind of vibe to it, but still has that crisp, citrusy, aromatic freshness. It's so beautiful. I just don't pull for it, and I kind of have my little squad of freshies that I absolutely love, and this a lot of the times just kind of gets left behind. So I want to just declutter this and hopefully one of you guys could show this the love that it deserves. Right, next, I'm getting rid of Candied Fantasy. This is probably my favorite fantasy flanker other than Midnight Fantasy. This smells incredible, but I found that it was kind of repetitive in my personal collection. This perfume actually opens up bubblegummy and candy. It's really fun. The bubblegum unfortunately is really short-lived. It's not like you're really getting that a lot, even though it's called Candied Fantasy. It does kind of deceive you because you go into it thinking this is gonna be like a candy version of fantasy, but it only starts off that way. After about, I would say 2 minutes, it literally transforms into a designer perfume. This perfume genuinely smells so high-end. It kind of is giving me a hybrid between Valentino Donna Born in Roma and Black Opium in the dry down. More Donna Born in Roma leaning. It's like that boozy kind of vanilla sexy scent, which you wouldn't expect coming out of this, but it's actually a stunning perfume. I'm just getting rid of it because I have those fragrances and I wanted to keep this because I really truly loved it, but it doesn't really add uniqueness to my personal collection, even though it's a great fragrance. This one I really loved initially when I got it. For me, when I let perfumes macerate, there's two things that can happen. I either end up loving it more as it's had time to macerate, or I don't like it into the scent that it eventually turns into after letting it sit. And that's kind of what happened with me with Haramain Janoon Noir. This is an Arab fragrance. Very, very, very high-end smelling. And in comparison to a lot of Arab fragrances that can be more oud dominant and just a lot stronger, this is actually pretty, I would say pretty likable. There's not really a lot of polarizing elements to this, but after letting it sit, there's something that comes out on my skin that I don't love. The dry down is beautiful, but the opening I kind of just have a little bit of a hard time with. It's really nice. It smells so expensive. It's kind of berry-like. It's very jammy and sweet, not too overly sweet. There's like this powderiness to it, a nice floral. It's definitely like a more dark, mysterious kind of scent. Very sexy, going out, easily a signature type scent, but I don't love it as much as when I initially got it. So for that reason, I am letting go of it. Then I'm getting rid of this Angel Elixir from Mugler. This is stunning. But this is again one of those cases where I love this fragrance and then I went to go and smell it again and I'm just not like head over heels for it, which is something so weird because listen, I'll declutter this today and then I could end up missing it tomorrow, which is like, girl, just keep it in your collection in case that happens. But I just don't want to do that anymore. When I'm in the mood to declutter, I declutter. If eventually down the line I want to rebuy it, then maybe, but I'm gonna have to really think about if I want to rebuy it. And I try to remind myself, you know, why I got rid of it in the first place, and usually that's a good enough reason to kind of convince me like, okay, I don't need it again. It's kind of repetitive in my collection. This fragrance reminds me a lot of like a darker version of Donna Born in Roma. It's more of almost like a grapey version of Donna Born in Roma. Not as much as the OG Angel. This, although it is a flanker of Angel, it has nothing to do with Angel. It's not that really overpowering patchouli. It's just the kind of patchouli that you expect in Donna Born in Roma. It's just a lot stronger in here. And lately when I pull for it, I've found that that patchouli kind of comes out a lot more on my skin than it used to. So I struggle with this perfume, but I think I'm just gonna get rid of it because I don't ever want to fuss with perfumes. I either love it or I hate it. And I just am trying to really weed out those kind of gray area perfumes where sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, because I just don't want any more of that in my collection. I'm getting rid of this, which I pretty much praised, and I hyped this up so much and I still think it's great, but I never reached for it. Ever since I got it, I thought I was gonna pull for it because it's a very easy reach, grab and go kind of fragrance. It's along the same lines as Juicy Couture Viva La Juicy, but the reason why I'm getting rid of it is because lately I've found that it smells so much like Gucci Floral Gorgeous Gardenia. There's this gardenia aspect in here that's been really standing out that, again, I didn't smell when I first got this. Perfumes can change, okay? Or maybe we change, and then scents that we liked, we don't anymore, and scents that we didn't like, we do. Change is inevitable, so that can happen and it's fine. But yeah, this is really pretty. If you're into scents like Viva La Juicy, if you liked Gucci Floral, I think this is a nice little hybrid of Viva La Juicy and Gucci Floral. I'm getting rid of this. I know, this is crazy. I'm getting rid of Rihanna's Rebel Fleur Love Always, not to be confused with the OG Rebel Fleur. To me, this is the better version because it's creamier, even though they have the same notes. This one, I think that coconut aspect, it just kind of makes this more smooth, and the patchouli is not as aggressive as it is in the original. I've maybe used this 2 or 3 times in the whole time that I've had this because it's a very specific scent. It's a pretty loud fragrance, which normally I like, but lately, I've just been pulling more for everyday fragrances. My life is not that exciting. I kind of do the same thing every day. And when I do have those special occasions, there's so many perfumes that I have discovered after this that I want to pull for. It's a very patchouli heavy fragrance. It is a floral, sexy, dark, very dark and plummy fragrance. It's got a lot of plum. It's very rich, sort of jammy with a lot of patchouli. It's just one of those things where the fragrance is great. I have nothing against it. I just simply don't use it. This was one of my original fragrances that I had, and I kept it for so long for that nostalgic kind of reason. But I'm not gonna let perfumes go to waste just because I like to look at it and it gives me nostalgia. I don't want to do that anymore. This next perfume, you're actually going to be seeing this in a future haul. This I'm getting rid of because it was a blind buy. I don't want to say fail, but it's not a scent that I'm going to use. I don't think it's bad, but not a scent that I'm going to use. Although it is a nice little dupe for a very expensive Tom Ford fragrance. This is Oscar de la Renta Alibi, and it is the Eau Sensual flanker. So it's not the original Alibi. I got this at Burlington, and this is actually a really nice dupe for Tom Ford's Noir fragrance, which I think out of all Tom Ford perfumes I've tried, Noir is actually not as polarizing as a lot of his other fragrances, at least to my nose. I found that it was really smooth and actually kind of likable. I mean, considering it's still a Tom Ford perfume. In his collection, I feel like it is the least polarizing, and this is actually pretty similar to that. It's not really a scent that I go for a whole ton. The reviews were kind of mixed, and a lot of people said it smelled really sexy and sweet, so it was kind of confusing me in the store, but it was 20 bucks, so I'm like, let me try it and I'll review it. And I just didn't really end up loving it. I did wear it, I did like it, but I didn't love it. And then the last fragrances I am decluttering are some dupe house fragrances. A lot of these were just duplicates in my collection, so I'm getting rid of them. For a long time, my dupe house fragrance collection was getting out of hand because I was just doing all these videos and they kept accumulating, and I needed to just kind of get it all in check. So now I have just like my all-time favorites in my collection. I'm probably gonna put these in separate listings, so I'll probably put like 3 in a listing. You'll see on my Mercari what I end up doing. I'm getting rid of some Juliana's fragrances. I have 6 Juliana scents here, which you can see up on my Mercari. Actually, I have 7. And then I have 2 Dossier fragrances going up as well. I have a dupe for J'adore and a dupe for Chloe. Also, I wanted to kind of show you guys some perfumes that are still on my Mercari from the last declutter that I did, which I actually never made a video on. So I figured I just kind of included them in here really quick. I ended up decluttering Toca Simone. It's a freshie, really beautiful scent. I just wasn't pulling for it. I ended up decluttering this because I have a nice curated collection of fragrance oils and I just wasn't reaching for this one. This is, I forget the name of this, but it's that very famous, very fruity, sensual kind of air fragrance oil. Really nice, very strong, lasts forever. And then these 2 are also up there. I decided to put this Dance from Shakira, which was a blind buy, which is not that exciting. And then this is Nude Sand from KKW. It's actually a discontinued fragrance that I wasn't pulling for. It's like a really nice lipsticky, sexy, makeup-y kind of fragrance though. It's really nice. And then I have my whole bin of declutters in here. I have a ton of mists on there that are currently up that I didn't mention in my declutters that I've done before, so I'll mention them here. Or maybe I have, I don't know, but I'll give you guys an update. I have a Sol de Janeiro mist that's still up there. Tons of Victoria's Secret mists, Finery. I have some body butters, Bath and Body Works, just a lot of stuff on there, so you can check them all out. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're interested in purchasing anything, check out my Mercari shop. Link is the first link in my description box. That is it for me today. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and turn post notifications on, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.